Joe Russell now with the front line with Joe and Joe. Once again, let's go into the breach. Bill C-18, the censorship law. We've covered this on many clips. When the lie loses its power, you got to censor. This gentleman says Canadians need to stand their guard. Are their eyes open? He's telling us that it's backfiring. Play the clip.
Do you know he's actually a defender of free speech? No kidding.
To accept its responsibility towards our democracies by refusing to pay the fair share.
Fair share. What he's talking about is social media there. And Bill C-18, which is, I call the internet extortion bill, with demanding that social media pay their fair share, as Trudeau says. I mean, pay your fair share is socialism. That's all that's ever been. It's another way of saying, we'll tax everybody to death and we'll take from those who produce to give to those who don't produce anything. That's communism, really, in essence. That's Karl Marx. That's something that Trudeau is fluent in. Because worse is coming. And I don't know if Trudeau thinks Canadians are stupid or just not tuned in to what's going on, but get tuned in. So it's all backfiring on this Liberal government. And it's all backfiring.
Is it backfiring? Keep this in mind. This bill actually passed both your House and the Senate. It's very difficult to repeal a law. And frankly, the other party, even the Conservatives, could use this to their advantage to wield power. Don't think that they won't. That's not outside of their grasp either. This was a dangerous piece of legislation that went through your government legally. By the way, most of the crimes that have taken place, particularly in the 20th century, were legally put forth. Arresting people in Germany, arresting people in Russia, and now censoring information. You also have in Europe currently, the EU is going to ban Twitter. You have in France, they banned Rumble because information is dangerous to the establishment. Free information, and they know it, and they have power, and they're wielding it. This was a very, very dangerous piece of legislation that was passed in your country. This took, if you ask me, a big hit on what your proverbial democracy claims to be. It's going to be very difficult to repeal. I'm going to tell you that right now, because like I said, don't think for a minute the Conservatives won't use this against the Liberal Party. And by the way, if you're conservative and you're for that, you're part of the problem too. A democracy has an open platform. You are free to speak. And if you feel that you have an opinion, let's debate it. Put it out there. If you can't debate it, that's when governments censor. Because when the lie loses its power, they have to censor. Joe Russell now with the front line with Joe and Joe. Once again, let us go into the breach. As we all know, France is imploding. It seems like it's on the verge of a civil war, and a man in a balcony expresses his displeasure at what he sees. Play the clip.
Allez bosser! Bande de fainéants! Allez bosser! Salaud! On n'est pas obligé d'être ouvrier toute sa vie, hein! Et les études, vous avez pas fait aux études. Allô, allez bosser, fainéants, Macron, Macron, Macron.
I see signs of unity, Canada. It's absolute and utter distaste for Justin Trudeau. It's bringing people together, and they're dancing in the streets. Play the clip. I'll be honest with you. Some of the beards and the Irish jigs that you guys were doing in that clip, that's impressive. I mean, absolutely. Michael Flatley in his crazy-ass Irish jig dance show, whatever the heck he does, has nothing against you guys. Plus, Flatley's not drinking beers. Maybe he should drink beers. Maybe he should get rid of that outfit he does, too. You ever watch that Flatley Irish crazy-ass dance show that he does? You guys got him beat by a mile. Here's the newest gem from Jagmeet Singh on Twitter. It's simple. We should just cancel student debt. Conservatives might be trying to do everything to stop it in the U.S. Jagmeet, because the government doesn't have a money tree. Printing money or giving money away, frankly, all that does is create inflation and create a burden, a tax burden on your population. Money does not grow on trees. I love when progressives make statements like this. I truly do, especially millionaire progressives like Jagmeet Singh. Completely not realistic. Here's something that is realistic. You study, if you're in the middle class or in the lower classes, you have to study something that's going to make you money. You don't go to college to study gender studies because you can't make money. And when you accumulate debt as a result of that, frankly, that's the fault of your parents, your guidance counselors, the bank who gave you the money, and frankly, you. People have to think money, when it's loaned to you, you have to pay it back. And if you don't think you're going to be able to, you don't take out the loan. There you go, Jagmeet. I just solved the problem. Amazing. A massive tornado rips through central Alberta. Play the clip.
Cats aren't happy. It almost looks like there's almost a second one going there.
I can see why these guys looked up.
Holy crap, man. He's a Hummer. Pictures.
Canada, the locusts are next. Satan laughing spreads his wings. France is imploding. It looks like they're having a civil war. Are you following it? Play the clip. Couple comments. I recently read that Macron is blaming social media for the unrest in France. You're missing it. You're missing it, Mr. Macron. Why this is happening is basically because social media is showing people the truth, which was always suppressed by the mainstream media, and that's the idea. Do you know, and I heard this recently, that the EU is looking to ban outright Twitter because they know they have to control the press. The press is the messaging for the establishment. The idea of free press, even in America, is a joke. It's controlled. Anytime somebody steps out of line, out of the box, you saw that with Tucker, you're gone. That's why they're freaking out about what Musk did with Twitter. In France as well, Rumble is banned outright. A lot of people don't know that. It's banned. They have to control the messaging. And here's another thought. What's going on with Musk in the EU with Twitter, them banning it? Musk is the richest person in the entire world. And he actually said, and I can't fault the guy, he said, we'll comply with the law. If this is what they do, what can we do? He's the richest man in the world. If he can't stop this in terms of the censorship, who can individually? Now, this is the point. Individually, no one. But who can stop it? The people. You see, people have to band together. We have to put down our minor skirmishes. And yes, we have differences of opinion on abortion, on marriage, on how taxation should be levied, how immigration should be basically adjudicated in the state. We could go on and on and on and on. And these are real. However, they divide us and they distract us. People, as in the people, have to come together and take their countries back. You see, a huge power shift had taken place as a result of COVID. The state took power. They're not giving it back. And I actually think it showed them that they can do it, and they're going to continue to try to do that. And we see that with a lot of the environmental alarmism. They're going to use that as a tool to continue to take power. from people. People have to unite. Put down your differences, take your country back, and then let's pick up our differences and have a dialogue, a civil one. That's what a democracy is. That's what pluralism is. Right now, we don't have a democracy. It's an oligarchy, a government controlled by the few. The democracy is frankly the facade. Joe Russell with the front line with Joe and Joe. Once again, let us go into the breach. I wanted to show you an image from Nevada. Crickets invading the city. Play the clip. The locusts are coming soon, Canada. I want to share with you something from the movie The Ten Commandments. I think it's very appropriate after watching that clip. When Charlton Heston goes to Pharaoh, Charlton Heston's playing Moses. I'm going to play Charlton Heston. Bear with me. There's a point to this. Charlton Heston goes to Pharaoh and he says this, "Let my people." This clip is directed at Joe Biden's government, but it could just as easily be directed at Justin Trudeau's government. They're following the same playbook. Play the clip. Create division, divide, and conquer. Break down the society and present yourself as the solution to the problem. That is what you are seeing. This is right out of the playbook of Saul Alinsky. If you know who Saul Alinsky is, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, look him up. He wrote a very famous book called Rules for Radicals, and that is the playbook. That is what you're seeing, and that is what the globalists are doing in Canada and in the U.S. Once again, this clip directed at Biden could just as easily be directed at Trudeau. People have to unify. All people, irregardless of your political stripe, people who are struggling, people who have economic issues, working people, get your government back. Then we'll talk about the issues, the bigger issues that we're talking about today. First, you got to get your government back. And frankly, the distractions are exactly what they want. Meanwhile, nothing gets done. They maintain their power. You get a crumb. Life doesn't improve. Get your government back. And then we'll talk about the other issues. Frankly, that's the only way regular people are going to make out. Otherwise, as our friend Marie Antoinette once said, let them eat cake. Or in this case, poutine. Pierre Poilievre, he's in Eastern Canada. He's making his rounds. He's kissing babies and he's going door to door. He's looking for votes. Play the clip. Poilievre, he's still sporting the Miami Vice look. The glasses are off, and he is the baby boy. ETV News, i.e. the propaganda machine, reports that the grocery rebate checks will be rolling out for eligible Canadians January 5th. Couple comments. The grocery rebate is your first step towards the universal income. That's when you become a slave. That's when you're on the plantation forever and you will never get off. That is what the globalists want. That's point one. Point two, here you have a picture of Justin Trudeau wandering the aisles of a grocery store in Canada, trying to spew rhetoric and convince people somehow he's helping them and the grocery rebate is going to make up for the carbon tax beating that he has caused the average person. Ultimately, I'll be honest with you, I don't know how he has the stones. That's a term we use in New Jersey. The stones to walk into a grocery store and actually tell people to their face somehow they're doing better. But he does. And guess what? You, my friends, have to grow some stones, and you have to see life as it truly is. You have to ignore the rhetoric. You have to shut off the news. You have to listen to Joe and Joe. And you have to get your freedom back, because no one's going to give it to you. You got to get it back, and that means standing up, seeing things clearly, and fighting for what is true, good, and beautiful. The sneakers of the house. The MPs embrace comfort while Canadians eat at food banks and live in tents. The campaign continues. Bring back Don Cherry. To all my Canadian American friends, if you like what we do on the front line, I'm asking you to give $1. Just $1. Production costs money. We do it for you. We are self-funded, and $1 goes a long way. That's less than a cup of coffee. In Canada, a cup of coffee might cost $5, so you're getting off easy. Please, Just give us $1 and we'll keep the content coming your way. God bless you, and remember, stay free.